Hey, so I'm making a quick video going over a crafting guide for the endgame MF tornado shot character. So we'll go over the gloves, the helmet, the amulet, the cluster jewel, and the +2 arrow LE bow. So we'll go over the gloves real quick and try to make this pretty fast, and hopefully you'll understand it pretty well. The gloves, you need a fractured, increased damage with hits against shield enemies. This is a temple mod. You cannot craft this. You cannot chaos roll it. It has to drop from temple. So you have to buy the base from trade website. Now you don't need this mod for these gloves, but if you want the GG gloves, this is what you get. Especially since you kind of need every little bit of damage to this league. So yeah, how do you craft these gloves is quite simple. All you do is Zeal Essence spam. This guarantees tier 1 attack speed, and you keep Zeal Essence spam until you get tier 1 chances for SL damage on your suffix. That's how you finish the suffix. Let me D&D real quick. And then for the prefix, it comes down to Eldritch Currency. If you know what Eldritch Currency is, it's essentially currency that only rolls the prefix or suffix depending on which Eldritch is dominant. So in this case, for prefix, we need Exarch dominant. So all we have to do is go to our Eldritch Currency, and you'll use a Lesser Ember, and this would make Exarch dominant. And now when we use Eldritch Chaos, Exalts, or Nulls, it would only reroll the prefix and our suffix are safe. So how do you do this? And also make sure you always check the price of Eldritch Currency before you do Eldritch Crafting. So in this case, Exalts are essentially 2.5 Exalts per 1 Chaos. This means you really want to use Exalts way more than Chaos. So essentially what you would do, you want to go for tier 1 or tier 2 life. So we'll pretend we don't have this yet. And if your prefix are full, you want to immediately Chaos Orb. It's the most cost efficient method. If there's only one prefix, then you want to craft Evasion on here. % Evasion is the best block, followed by Increase Evasion, Flat Evasion I mean, if you already have Increase Evasion on there. And then as long as you have one open prefix with a block, you then want to Exalt. If you don't hit life, you Chaos again. And in this case, if you already have 2 prefix, I would just Chaos. It's not really worth slamming for this, as you do need these 2 prefix annulled off anyway if you were to hit it here. So yeah, this is the whole process. 2 prefix, we go again. 1 prefix, over here increase evasion, so now we'll block Flat Evasion, and then Exalt. And you keep doing this process over and over until you hit it. And once you hit a life modifier you're happy with, so let's just say you want to hit tier 2 or tier 1 life. I wouldn't really set up for tier 3. Yeah. Let's just say you hit what's this essence life, but right here. It's either. Let's just say you hit tier 1 life. With that process I just showed you. You then need to do suffix cannot be changed. You then Ashling Slam. Hit the 50-50 to keep the life. If you don't keep the life, then obviously you have to restart, get the life back, and go again. So in this case, we hit the life, so now we have to restart from the prefix step. So we'll just keep going until we eventually hit the 50-50 each time. So we finally hit. Now you want to block physical damage reduction while focus. The ratings for blocking is wrong on Creative Exile and other websites. As far as we know, Phys damage while focus is the best or tied for the best. We don't really know, but this has been pretty successful for me in the past, and it's pretty successful for this league as well. So yeah, block Phys damage while focus, and then unveil. Now it's a 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 to unveil cold convert. In this case, we did unveil cold convert. Now we'll just cast damage while leeching. And then the gloves are done. You can also divine it to your liking, of course. And then of course you gotta do the implicits, which, I'm not going over in this video, but it's obviously pretty easy to do implicits if you've done any Eldritch implicits before. So yeah, that's how you craft the gloves. If you don't hit cold convert, let's say you hit anything else that's not cold convert, you can do an Eldritch annul or 50-50 to keep your tier 1 life, then do suffix cover change, and then go for another Ashland Slam again to give yourself another chance. Yep, that's how you craft the gloves. Move on to the helmet. Helmet is a pretty similar method. It's once again just essence spam. So in this case, you want to make my helmet with intelligence and tier 1 rarity. You want essence of spite spam until you hit tier 1 rarity on your suffix, and then your suffix are done. And then once again for the prefix, you'll have to do Eldritch Crafting. So you use one Lesser Ember to make it Exarch dominant. And then you go with Eldritch Chaos, Exalts, and Annuls until you hit tier 1 life and tier 1 rarity. And it kind of follows the same rule as the gloves, as in you always block increased evasion, and increased evasion is on the helmet, and then you block flat evasion. In this case, we have to block flat evasion. And then, of course, we exalt. Tier 4 life, we're not selling for that, so we chaos. Same thing. Exalt. Yeah, it's the same method. If you hit life already, the most cost-effective thing is just to chaos again. There's no point of keep going. So we hit flat, so now we got craft increase evasion. Exalt, tier 3 life. This is fine to settle if you do want to sell tier 3 life. Feel free to. It could be a really expensive craft in this case. So if you want to sell tier 3 life, we can just annul. So remove the craft before you annul. Hope you hit the evasion, and then you'll craft back on. Then increase evasion, and then exalt, and it's a 1 out of 26 or 1 out of 29 to hit tier 1 rarity at this point. And yeah, we didn't hit, so we'll have to once again take off the craft, annul, and yeah, that is the whole craft. Repeat. Eventually, you will hit tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 life. I usually sell for tier 1 and tier 2 life, and tier 1 rarity. You also can set on 3 prefix. You don't really need this last prefix crafted. It's not needed. So keep that in mind as well if you want to make it a little bit cheaper. But yeah, eventually, let's say you would hit the life, and then the rarity. Like I said, if you hit a third prefix as well, let's say, you can keep it or you can annul. You can also use locks. Maybe it's cost effective for locks, depends on the price, of course. But yeah. Once you have this, you can craft on whatever you want, and the helmet is done. Also, one more thing for the gloves and the helmet. If you are going to fracture this yourself, locks can be extremely cost effective depending on fracture or price and lock price at the time. So it's something you have to check for yourself when you do it. You know, lock price and fractional prices constantly go up and down. And you also have to check the base cost. The glove specifically, if you're using a tier 1 base, and the helm, if you're a tier 1 base, it's probably cost effective to use locks to save the base, as the base is very expensive. So keep that in mind. And real quick, we'll go over real quick. All it is essence of score and spam, and that is it. So if you buy this amulet off trade and no influence, you would have to warlord exalt this amulet to make it an influence. Then you go to the harvest bench, and then you use this right here, 1000 blue, randomize the influence. This is a 1 out of 6 to make it shaper. So you warlord exalt, put it in here, 1 out of 6 to make it shaper. Then once it's shaper, you start using essence. Score and essence for multi until you hit tier 1 quant. Just keep doing this over and over and over. Eventually, right, you hit tier 1 quant. I believe it's a 1 in 170. And then when you hit quant, your prefix is going to be random, right? So if your prefix is good, you can keep it and you're done. If your prefix is garbage like mana, you'll have to lock and annul. Because essence are so expensive right now, this is worth to lock and annul. So let's say you lock, you annul off eventually. You can then craft projectile speed or life, and it's done. Or you can do suffix can't be changed into Veiled Chaos Orb and hope you hit life or projectile speed. But yeah, totally up to you. If you want to amulet like this with rarity, do not try to craft it. It's way cheaper to mirror this than to craft tier 1 rarity, tier 1 quant, and tier 1 multi. Okay, so not try to craft this. Only try to craft like a basic amulet like this. This amulet is free mirror service, by the way, if you do want to mirror it. But yeah, do not try to craft a tier 1 rarity amulet. It's just not cost effective at all. Maybe you do get lucky though, you just hit it while doing essence spam. Who knows? Anyway, that is how you craft the amulet. For the bow, I'm not going to go over how to craft the bow. I'll link a guide to max roll because Sushi has a full guide on max roll. And I feel like this explains it way easier than I could. So yeah, just go follow this guide on max roll if you want to know how to craft a +2 LE bow. Yeah. Last thing we'll go over real quick is the cluster jewel. The cluster jewel, essentially what you gotta do for this is either find a fractured base or fracture yourself. If you're gonna fracture yourself, you want to give yourself a 2 out of 4 chance. So essentially, you would alt Augen Regal until your eye level 84 bow dash, has to be eye level 84 by the way, has increased effect and 3% attack speed. Once it has those two mods, you can then Fraction Orb, but because it's so expensive, it's going to be worth to lock currently at the current prices. If lock goes way up, like 40 days or whatever, that's not going to be cost effective to lock anymore, right? Keep in mind, locks currently are 17 divines, 18 divines, and at this price, it's worth it to lock the Cluster Jewel and then Fraction Orb. So yeah, once you have attack speed and increase effect, you lock Fraction Orb, and you want to hit attack speed or increase effect. If not, you go again. So ideally you want attack speed, but it does work increase effect. Increase effect is just more expensive, and I'll go over how you craft both. Yeah. If you hit increase effect, you then need to go to Harvest Bench, and now you're looking for 3 out of 4 mods. So this jewel right here, you're looking for attack speed, chaos res, max life, and increase effect, right? So you want 3 out of those 4 mods. Attack speed is guaranteed, and chaos res is guaranteed. That means you're looking for tier 1 increase effect, or tier 1 life. You can also set on tier 2 life if you want, but yeah. So you go to a Harvest Bench real quick. Now you just keep doing Chaos Reforge until you hit 1 out of those other 2 mods, so specifically tier 1 life or tier 1 increase effect. You cannot settle for tier 2 increase effect, by the way. That's the only one you cannot settle on. You can settle on tier 2 life, or you can settle on tier 2 chaos res. That is fine. Hopefully hit it fast, just to show an example. And then once you hit 3 out of 4, you do what you expect, which would be Exalt or Null if it's full. If it's something like this, where it has all the mods you want, your best outcome is to do more likely. Even though more likely is pretty bad, on average, this is the better method. Most likely we won't hit. Yeah, once again, do more likely because that's 2 out of the 3 mods. So if you have 2 of the 3 mods like this, but they're bad, like 2% chaos res, it's only 25% increase effect, do more likely. You keep any, then go back to chaos. Here we hit tier 1 life and tier 1 chaos res, so we are null and we hope to hit the max ES. Did not, so back to chaos. So yeah, this is the whole process and how you craft the cluster jewel until you eventually exalt and annul it. Here, do more likely. I have tier 2 life. I'll just do more likely at this point. Look, we have mana now. I'll show one example here. Where we exalt at least. So here, we null it off, so we have to go again. And yeah, this is the whole jewel crafter process. More likely. Very, very RNG. This easily costs like 30, 40, 50 divines, depending on juice price as well. Increased damage. Increased damage is also okay if you don't care for life, by the way. But I personally don't want increased damage, so I'm going to go for the chaos. Annul. And tier 3 chaos res is also okay. But yep, so in this case, you just exalt. And if you hit tier 1 life, you're done. If not, you can go for annul again, go for more likely, whatever. Yep, that is how you craft a jewel until you eventually hit it. And like again, you want tier 1 life, tier 1 increase effect, and tier 2 or tier 1 chaos res. But yeah, that's how you craft all the endgame gear. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll link to the Maxwell guide down below as well. And yeah, I also stream daily on Twitch. But yeah, that's it.